Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. This is Father David. This is your St. Andrew's Episcopal Church Noonday Prayers from San Antonio, Texas. The way the format works is we'll have a little devotional time together, a little time to reflect in the middle of your lunch hour, and then we'll have a chance to just take a few deep breaths together for about 2 minutes. That's kind of the way we take our fragmented day, our kind of chopped up, dispersed day, and kind of draw it back together, let it be centered again. And we can go out to the rest of our day. And from that center, from that place where God dwells, that place where God is creative and acting, well, then we can bring God's presence, the aroma of the Holy Spirit, into whatever we do. That reminds me that the way the Christian tradition has understood the shape of God, this center that's inside you, we've called it, kind of a doctrinal term called the Trinity. But I've learned some new ways of understanding Trinity, because most of the time before it was just very heady and very kind of theologically proper and correct, and we talk about Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, and if we don't talk about it, we use that term all the time in our liturgical prayers. And I tried to incorporate this new understanding into my life and my practice, and make it something that you can do in your life. So perhaps the shape of God, the essence that is within you, is not static or stayed or just like an object, but it's dynamic. That God is more like a verb than a noun. But even more particularly, there is a giver and a receiver and the gift that's given. Those three ways of speaking, so that God is a constant flow, giving back and forth between Father and Son, and the Spirit is love, the gift that is given between the two. So God is this great flowing energy that's constantly giving, constantly receiving, and the gift that goes back and forth, or in this kind of water wheel, if you will, this flow between those three entities. That's what God is like. God is the giver, the receiver, and the gift itself. That's the shape of God. And there's a flow, it's dynamic, it's moving, it's active. So, giver, receiver, and gift. It's the relationship of gift giving. That's what God is. God is constantly outpouring, constantly giving, but it also has to have a receiver on the other end, because it's a relationship. You give a gift. So, giver and receiver and the gift that's given, that's what God is like. So, I would just suggest you, and I try to practice in my own life, that the way I can be is to be in that flow, and that I have gifts to give and you have gifts that you can give. And we can receive gifts from others, so that really we could take all of life as a gift from God. So we can be givers and receivers. And the gift that flows between the generic name for all the gifts that flow to us and out from us is the gift of love, of course. So put yourself and know that you are part of the flow. Put yourself into the flow. Be conscious of this flow, this dynamic energy. You are giving, you are receiving, and the gift you give, no matter what the exact property of it is, it's all meant to be love. Whether it's something tangible, like you give someone a break, or you give someone a meal, or you give someone a smile, you give money, whatever it is, the very essence of life itself is the very shape of God. We are gift givers, gift receivers, and we give the gift. So that's God to me. That's what God is like. That's what the Trinity is like. So when I cross myself, I could do the traditional, in the name of God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, which is true. I could also say, in the name of the giver, the receiver, and the gifts given. Well, thanks for listening to your 12 noon devotional. Today, by the way, is Tuesday the 9th, and we'll turn to our prayer time now, so we can recenter and anchor ourselves and be part of that flow, the life of God.
For many of us, this moment feels chaotic and terribly stressful. Join us for a few moments to turn inward and connect to your innermost you. Gently close your eyes and feel the gentleness of breath inside your body as you repeat these words. My deepest me is love. My deepest me is whole. My deepest me is limitless. My deepest me is infinite. My deepest me is compassion. My deepest me is sacred. My deepest me is mystery. My deepest me is forgiveness. My deepest me is beauty. My deepest me is God. My deepest me has knowledge to give. I open my heart and listen.
Welcome back from your prayer time. Thank you for praying with me, reminding ourselves that we are made in the shape of God, that the Trinity is, we participate in the life of the Trinity. We are givers, receivers, and we give the gift of love. Take care, everybody. Have a great rest of the day. And stay in the flow of the life of God. You can have evening prayers tonight at 7:30 if you want to pray before you go to bed. And I'll be with you tomorrow morning for morning prayer at 9:30.